What up and welcome to Rama Screen YouTube channel, and here's my review of Netflix new animated series, Pluto. Let's rock this. Now, to give you some context, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but as I understand it, Pluto is not a straight up adaptation of Astro Boy. It's actually an adaptation of a story arc from an Astro Boy publication back in the 1960s, and creative artists Naoki Urasawa and Takashi Nagasaki were big fans of that specific story arc, and they took that as the basis for their popular manga, which then ultimately became the basis for this show. And I believe there was also a Pluto stage play that toured Japan and Europe, and it was well received by the fans over there. Now, have I read the Astro Boy, the Greatest Robot on Earth story arc? No, I have not. Have I read Naoki Urasawa's Pluto manga? No, I have not. Have I seen the stage play as well? No, I have not. So, I went in screening this entire show pretty fresh, with completely fresh eyes, not knowing what I was getting myself into, so to speak. I watched this show mainly for the reason that Netflix has been crushing it in terms of animation. Look, you and I, we can have different arguments about their live action shows, but when it comes to their animated shows, I think we can all agree that Netflix is flying above the competition at the moment, giving us one great storytelling quality after another. And I'm happy to inform you that Pluto is the latest example of that. Pluto is an emotionally deep, highly absorbing, poignant murder mystery in which the action may be few and far between, but it's such an epic, riveting saga that bravely tackles the complex ethical conundrums about our understanding of AI and human beings. Directed by Toshio Kawaguchi and produced by Genko, Pluto is set in a world where humans and robots coexist. Europol detective Gesicht is on the case when a string of powerful robots are destroyed, leading him to believe that the culprit is targeting the most advanced robots in the world, including himself. But things take a shocking turn when key humans involved in robot law start getting killed off one by one, and there's no clear sign of a perpetrator at the murder scenes. As Gesicht investigates, he meets the highly advanced robot Adam, whose emotions and AI leave him questioning his own identity. Together, they uncover a dark plot that could spell the end of the world as they know it. But with the clock ticking, can they stop the greatest evil in history before it's too late? Now, heads up, this is a slow burn show. I'm not kidding. There are 8 episodes total, and every one of them runs about an hour, sometimes an hour plus long. So you'll definitely want to pace yourself unless you are a naturally more patient person than me. I, for one, had to take breaks in between because there's so much to process and so much to take in and so much to unpack from each episode, which could get pretty heavy and pretty profound. On top of which, Pluto is also extremely chatty, very dialogue driven, because this is not an Adam show, this is not an Adam standalone show, this is a show featuring several AI characters and the humans associated with them. So the writers really took their time in digging deep into what it is that makes these characters tick and how their plight can generate empathy from us, the audiences. Yes, Detective Gesicht may be at the center of the story, but the story's got layers upon layers upon layers. It's so nuanced and extensive, and when it shifts to the other robots, it suddenly looks and feels as though we are watching a completely separate companion piece, to the point where at times I'm like, where are they going with this? But these subplots are so well explored that I don't mind the interruption. And when it eventually connects back to the mystery again regarding Bora and Pluto, it comes full circle and it totally makes sense. It's a very sweeping, smartly woven show. The character designs are fantastic. Obviously, for Adam, they had to make some resemblance to Astro Boy with the hairstyle without it being too obvious, but still recognizable. And of course, his rocket legs and all. And since the story is not only set in Japan, but it also deals globally, this is an anime version of what people or robot people might look like in other countries. But these characters still carry that over exaggerated, over expressive anger that we often see in anime. This is a 2D animation that's sophisticated but also classically familiar. Excellent art direction and terrific music score as well that easily gets us emotionally riled up. And even though the English voice actors dubbing can be a bit rigid, but it doesn't bother me at all because I'm totally zoned in the entire time and I understand what the story is trying to convey, what they're aiming for. Mind you, this is not an origin story of any of the key characters. The story picks up right when they all seem to already know each other quite well, I might add. And a lot of its pacing and format kind of reminds me of David Fincher's style, figuring out the patterns of these serial murders. So, any effort in peeling back on the motivations is just to get you to be ready for the inevitable, which is these characters might unwittingly meet their untimely fate. Very well developed, very multidimensional, and very compelling. And lastly, just to reiterate what I've clearly implied earlier, you have to have patience watching this show. This is not a swift, wham bam, thank you ma'am type of journey. I would even venture to say that Pluto is more of an acquired taste. You know, the more you give it time, the more it'll grow on you. And the more you'll realize how brilliant the story truly is. Yes, the show's got several intense action sequences, but more than that, it's a thinker story, a heart-wrenching story that will make you analyze its depth to no end. So yeah, overall I give Pluto the rating of 4.5 out of 5. One of the best animated shows on Netflix this year. One of the best animated shows I've ever seen. And so yeah, put Pluto on your must-see list today. So that's it. That's my review of Pluto. Smash that like button. Turn on that notification bell. Share this video with everyone you know. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe. Let's rock this.